Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sakhaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niradam Karunamayam Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pankum Lankayade Girim Yet Kripa Tamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Andar Jodi Bahir Jodi Pratyak Jodi Parat Paraha Jodir Jodi Swayam Jodi Atma Jodi Shivosmyaham. Yonda Pravishya Mama Vajamimam Prasuptam Sanjeevayatyakila Shakti Dharaswadhamna Anyamscha Hasta Charana Shravanattogadin Pranan Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. So in this verse he is saying everything is he only. Hasta Charana Togadi in the Panja what do you call it? Panjendriyas, prana, namo, even prana, all are the vikalpa on the Atman, not different from that we saw yesterday, not different. The wave is not different from the ocean. Wave has got, what do you say, impermanence. It is not there always, but it is coming from the infinite ocean. Similarly here, nothing is different. Pradak na kinchin up. It is neither apradak nor pradak. Like that we said in the previous verse. Tasmadevam viditvainam. Is that what we have to do? Advaide yojayet smritim. So what you have to do? You have to do nidityasanam. Having understood what is said previously, we don't do anything. We only continue to react in this world. No acting, only reacting. That is why all our problems. So he says, evam viditva, having understood like this, enam advaidam yojayet smritim, you fix your smriti, your memory in that Advaita. Because Advaita is Shiva. He said before. It is the auspiciousness. Continuously tune up your memory to it. To what? To Advaita. I am that Advaitam. I am that Turyatma. So many ways the Shruti has described this state. So you say, I am all love, like we did in the meditation in the morning. I am all peace, I am all joy. In that way, you meditate. So one day, suddenly you find you are all that. Now you are forcing yourself to think like that. But it becomes internalized in due course. If you go on thinking only bad thoughts or negative thoughts, you become a negative person, natural. So don't always think positive thoughts. I am that infinite Atman, and in me there are no flaws. I am a flawless person. Like that you go on thinking all positive thoughts, and naturally you end up being that. He says here, yojaye smriti. Practice is required. That is what this verse means. You need to practice. Krishna, Arjuna says how very difficult it is to keep this mind in one thing. So he says, asamshayam mahabaho. No doubt it is difficult. You are a mahabahu, we know. You are a very great soldier, but in controlling the mind you are not a soldier. You understand? We may have other abilities and capacities, but controlling the mind is the greatest difficulty for even highly accomplished people. Yes, do practice. Abhyasena tu vairagyana. But don't say it is impossible. It is possible, says the Lord to Arjuna, that you have to have vairagyam. Certain amount of vairagyam should be there to be away from the world of objects and people and beings and relationships. To become indifferent to all of them, you must have little bit of vairagyam. Without vairagyam, how can you do that? Yesterday Gurudev said, the more attached you are, the greater the sorrow. You are not attached. Okay. Everything goes in the straight. That's good. Take this attitude that everything is for good. Bhagwan knows the reason why I am suffering. Bhagwan knows the reason why this is like this and not like that. This is our problem. Only He knows. He knows the reason for every scalding tear. There is this thing of Gurudev, very beautiful it is. For every scalding tear you drop, for every sorrow that you go through, there is a reason. And since you don't know the reason, what you can do? In dignity, bear your crosses. That is all. Simple. What happened? What's happening? Don't sit near that.
No, I am asking him to keep a little left so that I can see you.
Oh, okay. You are going and sitting in a crooked place. Okay. Okay. Don't get angry for every small thing. Every time you get angry, you are losing your spiritual energy. Physical energy, if it goes, we can always make up, eat some more complan or that or this. You understand? Your spiritual energy, the fund of spiritual energy that you have, you are losing with every negative thought. So, conserve it. Conserve your energy. Otherwise, how can you progress in the spiritual field? You can't. That is what he says. Yojaye smriting, continuously tune up to a memory of that great state which is yours. Don't think it is only somebody who can get that. A Buddha can get it. An ordinary person. You say like that, you have become ordinary. You must always say, I have extraordinary possibilities in me. You must always think like that. Like Guruji says, always think big. Don't think small. Great achievements in this world are all because somebody had thought very big things. That is why. If they had only thought, I cannot do that, I will never do that. Go, sit there only, wherever you are. Those visionaries and dreamers in the world are people who always thought bigger than themselves. And they achieved. This is what he says, always continuously tune up your mind. no, neither you, but you don't take up the responsibility for either failure or success. You are not the actor, you are only an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava savyasajin. You are not fighting with anybody, you are not killing anybody also. I have already killed them. He says in the 11th chapter, he didn't say, he showed. The war has not started. Inside the mouth of Krishna he could see everybody died. Drona has died. Bhishma has died. Everybody has died. So what does it mean? You are not killing anybody. I am the total law. Bhagavan is the total law. I am the one responsible. Meaning, he gives a karma bhala dada. Hence, he gives the phalas according to your karma. Bhagavan also is not partial or anything. He gives according to your karma bhala. Karma bhala dada. So, you be my instrument. You become an instrument in my hand. To become an instrument in the hands of the Lord, you have to empty yourself of all kartrutva bhava, that ego should go. Then you have become, Bhagavan can use you for his work. Now he can't use you, you are so heavy with a king-size ego in you. So when Bhagavan takes you for doing some work, it is so heavy, it drops you. This I am imagining, It's not said in the Shastra. You understand? Become empty for his sake. And then he uses your body, mind and intellect for his own purpose. The great Mahatmas are thus empty reeds through which the music of the Lord comes out into the world. Advaitam samanuprapya, established in that Advaita. Jadavad lokamachare. Yesterday is Jadavad lokam. So much explanation was there. But what it means is Jadavad, like a not that way. Jadavad, he never allows somebody else to enter into his experience. It's most sacred to him. You never know, there are many people who call the great Mahatmas as Brahanda. Brahanda means? Here in Kerala also there was one great Mahatma whom we used to call Narayanath Brahanda. Because all the time he will be laughing loudly and walking around owning nothing, wanting nothing, desiring nothing. That is called Jadavat. Like a Brahanta. He walks around this world, having no desire for anything, wanting nothing. What happened? You broke your glass. Broke, eh? Not yet. Keep half a dozen in your room. Okay? So that Jadavat Lokamajarid, he is Udasina Vadasina. Udasina. He is not interested. He is not interested in owning anything. He is not interested in establishing big ashrams. He is not interested in nothing. Why? Because he has gone away from this world of relative joys and sorrows, relative achievements. He has gone away mentally. So he doesn't want anything. The beautifully Gita says that in one verse, the last verse to me in Gita is what? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva pavebhyo mokshayishyami mashuchaha. Mashuchaha. Don't ever weep and cry. The whole entire Gita's message is Shoka Moha Nivritti. Shoka moha nivritti starts from the first verse. Ashocyanannashojastvam. And ends with this verse, Ma shuchaha. See? Upakramam and upasamharam. That is Jadavad. Because seeing the impermanence, the futility of all the worldly pursuits, he gives up all worldly pursuits. And to the ordinary man, he is ununderstandable. He says he is a mad fellow. Many people call us also bad and mad, because we go to the ashram every now and then. Something is wrong with them. Once in a way is okay. Every year, pranta only. Understand? Like Jawaharlal Nehru visited the mad, what do you call? Asylum of the mad people. And something he asked that madman. So the madman says, who is mad? You are mad. We are normal. You understand? That is how others see. Like that. That's a beautiful word. Jadavad logam achared. He is in the Gurudev gives beautifully here. He says that he never tells everybody, goes about telling everybody, I am realized. You understand? Because they won't understand. Why to tell them? What is realization? They don't know. The common man doesn't know. So why to tell? So he is different. He doesn't want anything. Even if you give him they say, we will give you a piece of land for you to, for what? He says, I don't want to own anything. Possession is always dangerous. Then you become possessed by it. Is it not true? You have a house holds you, not you hold the house. What is the meaning of the word householder? The house holds you. One lady, old lady who is unmarried and all that. And every time I call her for camp and all this, is nobody in the house, who will look after the house? So who is holding whom? Do you understand? Once you own something, you become a slave to that worldly object. Yeah, man, Jadavata, he doesn't care. Live in this world as a piece of furniture without any reaction. That is called Jadavat. No reaction. He is only, later on he is going to say, only when Jivan Mukta is aware of his body only when he is hungry. Otherwise he is not aware of the body also. At that few minutes he is conscious of the body. Otherwise he moves around like the free Atman without any reaction in him. It's a beautiful in the like the nurses in the hospital. You may be suffering, but they are very, what do you call, poker face. They don't bother. They do what has to be done. Service is there. They are not interested in your affairs or they don't talk. You cannot talk to them about your family. There are some people who do.
It's the patient number. You are known by your number. Patient number 112.
Nurse never reacts. So also the man of realization lives in this world like any one of us. Works in this world. But he is not reacting to anything in the world. He does not want to possess anything of the world. That type of living is called Jadavas, without any works dynamically sometimes, but without reaction. Doing whatever is necessary, without any reaction. So then, for that Gurudeva, he says here, he shifts from the BMI to the achala vastu. The chala from the chala means moving, to the achalam, that one infinite, immutable Atman, and you reach the substratum of both. And how does he live? Whatever he gets, whatever he gets, he eats. Wherever he finds himself, he takes rest. That is a Jivan Mukta's life. So, in that Jadavat Acharayet, you must know a Jivan Mukta is indicated. Nobody else. When once the intellect has thus gained its own conviction, the stanza recommends us to live in our mental and physical existence in tune with the intellectual conviction. What is that in tune with the intellectual conviction? That all this is mithya. My conviction is what? When I become a Jivan Mukta, nothing is real. Why should I run after it? Why should I waste my energy, physical and spiritual energies in the pursuit of something which is finite? Are we not doing that? Every day we are doing that. Jadavat lokam acharet. Very beautiful. Thereafter, move about life as an inert, insentient thing. Sarva dharman paritejya. No other dharma for him anymore. He doesn't want anything. If you have a desire only, there is some dharma for you to do. Nothing. That greatest state of a man of realization, the vasana-less, the desireless, action-less state. You cannot say he doesn't do. Some of them do action. Like our Gurudev worked all his life. But there are many Mahatmas who never work also. Then we say, why, these fellows are lazy fellows. The fellows who are running around in this world, they say like that. And we just smile, okay, as you say. No contradiction. By yourself you become uninterested in any type of work with a desire-prompted activity is not there in the Jivan Mukta. Then doesn't he act? He will act sometimes loka sangraham, loka kalyanam, he will work. Or he may work because he finds something which requires kartavyamidhi, he will work. Do service. Even service is dangerous because you get the ego that I am a great social. You understand? Everywhere the ego will raise its ugly head. So you have to be very careful. And he says here, a master of knowledge, a godman, is expected not to project himself and force his values upon the society. He does not go about even converting people. Even what we are doing is wrong. Why? Na buddhi bhedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam. At least they are doing something, You know, they are going to a temple and doing namaskaram and puja. Why we sit here and say that's all bad, that's all wrong? If you say that, they won't do that also. Na buddhi bhedam janayed. Because they are ajñas, they are ignorant people and karma sangis. They love to do something. Let them do. Finally, they will themselves find out that this is not the path. And I have to go in a different way altogether. But if you go on, that had so many pravachaks, who are now very famous pravachaks around us, they will somehow or other, they are not able to convey what the scripture says correctly. So they say, why you want to go to Ayyappan Koil? Why you want to go to Chotanikara? And they irritate the people. Next day they won't come for your lecture. Because they are great bhaktas. Na buddhibedam janayeda. That is very dangerous. You function from where you are, but don't go on putting those ideas in an unprepared person. It will harm them. It will harm them. So he says here, he does not project himself and force his values upon the society and bring about violent revolutions or to take part in social and communal or national and international controversies. That is why even the paper doesn't attract us. Newspaper. 3/4 of which is lies. And 1/4 only is something there. So best is not to read. Why? To get into all this controversy. He is not to squander away his sacred energy by taking sides in the vain struggles of the moment and in the passing historical incidents. He doesn't take sides. He is not interested. On the other hand, men of such spiritual dimensions and godly dignity must declare the great truth upon which life is ever based and lead, guide and softly insist upon the generation's cultural evolution and the consequent spiritual progress. It should be a very soft touch, not violently try to change people. Or your behavior, the way you live, is a role model. As a role model for the society, they will follow you. Don't go on insisting on them. Don't do that, don't do this. A lot of harm is done because suppose you are a bhakta, you get very hurt by the disrespectful way in which the teacher from the stage is talking about the Ishtadevata. Is it not? You feel what this fellow thinks. You get very angry. So Vedanta then should learn to be quiet. Jatavat. Nothing I have seen, nothing I have heard, nothing. I am blind to everything, deaf to everything. Jatavat, that is Jatavat. Udasinaha, all those words. Now continuing he says, Nistutir nirnamaskaraha Niswadhakara evacham Chala chala nikedascha Yedir yadrishchigo bhavet. See, in this other. Yedir yadrishchigo bhavet. Now what does it mean? That sannyasi who has given up all. But how did he do that? By Nitya Nirandara Brahmabhyasa. With that he had attained all that desire for everything is gone. All the 3 Ks, 3 Ws, everything. You know all that, what it is. Wealth, wine, women is called 3 Ws. From there only they took for the TV, this thing, computer. WW. Why they took WWW, I don't know. WWW in Vedanta means wine, women, wealth. The 3 women does not mean only women per se. Women means all pleasures, sense pleasures. Okay? All these 3 has to be avoided. If you put it in Sanskrit, 3 Ks. Kanagam, Kamini, Kanchanam. Alla. Kanchanam, Kirti. Kanchanam, Kamini, Kirti. Same thing. But in Sanskrit. The harm is the same. You follow all that. So he says here that sannyasi, for him, all this enthusiasm to enjoy world, Sriyanna panadi vichitra bhogai, paridrupti medi, in Kaivalya Upanishad. He thinks I am the Vaika self and I am enjoying myself with vichitra bhoga. All that goes. Why? Because he has Brahmajnanam now. There is nothing in the world which is equivalent to the bliss that you enjoy as a jnani. So he says, and here Sri Ramakrishna says, and then what will happen? Everything, he has lost interest in everything. That is Jadavat. When everything is gone, what is your state of mind? Shantam. Prapancha upashamam, shantam. You become shantam. When the firewood is, this is given in Malayalam, I'll tell you. When the firewood is burning, there will be the sound. Pata 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 pata. If the firewood is burning, you will get the sound, sound, isn't it? But suppose it has burned out, Inthanam is over, then only ashes are there, then there is no sound. That is a Jatavat Logam Ajaret. There is no sound at all because he has become quiet. All these worldly pursuits have become burnt out in him. Jnanagni dagdhakarmanam. Everything is burnt in that jnanagni. Then what happens? No sound is there. When all asakti, all desires have entered, then there is nothing but pure peace. Such a man is called Jadava. When you look at him, you cannot make out the greatness of his achievement because he does not exhibit it. He just stays quietly, calmly. Man like, what is his name? Chattambi Swami, great man, realized man, but he never went and gave one talk also. He will go from one place to another, and he has got some few devotees in that place, let us say. He will go and stay in one of their houses for a few days, 5 days, 6 days. He was a Parivrajaka, Paramahamsa Parivrajaka. Yes. He will stay there and all the neighbors will come, Swami is come, and they will go and get some instruction from him. Something he will teach them, how to live. And then he will move away from there to another place. In those wanderings, he will come to Gurudev's house also. Like that only he met Gurudev. Parivrajaka sannyasi is there. Okay, so then there is nothing, there is only shanti in such people. Nistudir nirnamaskaraha niswadagara evacha chala chalanikedascha yadir yadrichiko bhaved. Nistudi, he has nothing to... he doesn't do any studi. Studi is all only to get something, or no? Bhalam. First only you will read bhalam. What is the bhalam of reading this studi? In Chinmaya Mission we don't generally read the bhalam. Only the studi. Why? Not for the bhalam. Nistudihi. And he doesn't feel any necessity to do any studi. Anybody. You have to praise somebody only if you want something from him. Otherwise, why should you praise? I don't want anything even from God. Then why should I praise? And I mean, he thinks like that. I want something. What is that? I want Atma Jnanam. So I do the stuti. But suppose you don't want anything. You are gained Atma Jnanam also. Then what is there to ask? Nistudi. There is no stuti for the Lord. He himself has become the Lord. What is there to ask?
My stuti, we are adoring the greatness of the Lord.
Maybe. But why? Why are you worshipping the Lord? Why are you worshipping the Lord?
We are recognizing it.
Okay, you recognize. If you don't want to recognize, because there is nothing to recognize, you are recognized the highest reach of God. Brahmajnanam is that. Not only you have reached that highest reach, you also know you are that. Then you have to worship yourself like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you have to put flowers on yourself. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, without giving Devi the Naivedyam, he will eat first.
Even Tambol Maharaj used to praise the Lord.
That's a different, I am not comparing or contrasting or anything. We are talking about a man who has realized. Some of them still like to worship the Lord. Even Kanji Periyal, they sit and do Kamakshis. Worship. But whether it is necessary, if you have to decide, not the book. If you decide it is worth and I want to do it, you do it. Who is preventing? I am not preventing. I myself do all types of. But there is a puja, difference is there in the puja of a Mahatma, of an ordinary person. Soham bhavena pujayet. You know, what is the difference between a Mahatma's puja and ordinary puja? Ordinary puja is you give me this, give me that, give me that, give me this. That is the ordinary man's puja. Even that is great. You are coming to the Lord and not to the bar or some other place. You understand? So he is great. Udara eva sarvam. All of them are udara and are good people only. But Mahatma worships only because if he loves to again and again, even Krishna used to meditate, they used to say, because he come to realize the oneness, to again and again recognize it. Nothing else. No other desire is there. And that I am taking it out and putting it there. Prana Pradishta is done first. And then you worship. You understand who is there? Me, myself. And then after puja, you say Visarjanam. And you went back. Prana Pradishta is over. All this is very Vedantic. But some people say, no need for all that. I am constantly aware that I am that. You understand? He doesn't do any puja. You cannot make out. Why this Swami is not doing any puja? That is your problem. Not Swami's problem. Swami is ever immersed in that thought. You understand? Doesn't go to. Why you are not going to the temple?
The theme is discussed in Chitta Prajna Lakshanas. What he may do this, he may do that, anything. He may not do, you cannot say why he has not done.
That is in Jivan Mukti. In Jivan Mukti Lakshana it is. Sthita Prajna, whether we should do puja or it's up to you. We are nobody to say you should do or you should not do. It helps because it is an upasana. And some people, like he says, always wants to remember the glory of the Lord. In everything, Tapovan Maharaj saw the Lord. That is the problem. He saw the Lord in each and every tree. He will weep seeing a tree in flower.
looking at the glory of the
Even Sri Ramakrishna, for all his Vedanta, if you say Krishna, he will go into a trance. Finished. Or Kali. So each individual is different. And you also are different. I am not saying the same thing from everybody. But here the teacher says, he becomes nistudihi. He doesn't feel any necessity to do any stuti to the Lord because he himself has become one with the Lord. That is the problem.
In the Bhashya it is given. Stuti Namaskaradi Sarva Karma Varjita.
Varjita. Karma it is. That is why. Bhashya writes like that because Shankara was like that. Going around all over the world only serving. So whether it is required, maybe required. Some people like it that way. That is all. After crossing the Ganges, do you need the boat again? I have crossed and reached the other bank. Now again I insist I will use the boat, then you will be a fool only. Is it not? Suppose you carry your boat and walk in the other bank. People will think you are off. So here says that a man of realization, at least he doesn't need any stuti. Let us put it that way. He doesn't need to do any stuti. He should not do any stuti, we cannot say. That is individual. Okay? I always like to go to the middle path only. No extremes. So some people need it. Who are we to say? Nirnamaskaraha. He doesn't have any spiritual practices. He doesn't have any. Whether if he feels like he will do some karma, if he doesn't feel like he doesn't do any karma, nobody can question. He has no vidhi, no nishedha. This is the important thing. So this stuti, namaskara and all which are prescribed, injunctions are given in the Vedas for common persons. It is not applicable to a man of realization. He is independent. He can do exactly what he thinks is right, and what he thinks is always right. This is why he says, nistudihi, nirnamaskaraha, niswadha. All the rituals in which you do the pitri yajnas, swadha, is he doesn't do any pitri yajna and all. Sannyasi cannot do shraddha karmas. No. When we take sannyas, we do the last shraddha karma for ourselves. And after that, niragnihi. Agni is not there. Actually, in the olden times, they take it literally and say, no, we won't even heat the, what do you call? The fire. We won't cook food. Only somebody should give us food. That is all going extremes. Niragni there means don't do any agni karmas. The, what do you call the, what do you do in the house? Agnihotra. Agnihotra, the karmas, they don't do. Why they don't do? Because nothing to, there is no purpose. They have no desire. If at all they do, it is for the Loka Sangraha. Bas. Okay. Niswadagare vacha chala chalanigedascha. And he is chala, there is nothing, no vidhi, no nishedha. That much only you need to understand in this verse. Chala, the body which is moving, achala, atma tattvam. Only atma tattvam. He depends only on these two. When he is hungry, he depends upon his body to eat. If he doesn't eat, he will die. So when he is hungry, he eats. It is a topical desire. At that time only the body is there for him. And when he is having some disease, take some medicine. He is aware of the body. Otherwise he is not aware of the body. Dehatma praditi is not there in that person. And what does he depend on? Atma Tattvam. He is under the umbrella of Atma Jnanam. He is not worried about any other thing. And the body is only an instrument which he uses once in a way. Not 6 times and all. The food they eat is only once a day. In the Himalayas, twice a day. In the morning and the evening. In between, nothing. Eight years or so, our Gurudev stayed in the Himalayas and ate from that Kalikambliwala ashram. Have you seen that picture of Gurudev with a hut, mud hut, which he himself made? I don't know why it didn't fall on him. Anyway, he himself made in the banks of the Ganges and he lived in that. But did not cook food. He went to Kalikambliwala ashram and brought that chapatis and whatever they cook and some sabji. And he will bring for Tapovan Maharaj also. Guru Seva. That's the only food.
And many times there was no dal, so you have to dip in Ganga water and eat.
That's okay, you are hungry, it will also taste well. It's the greatest hunger, is the most tasty sauce in the world. Okay. Chala chala nikedascha. So only these 2 ashrayas he has. Either yadrishigo bhave. That word is very beautiful. He lives by chance if he gets. By chance he gets his clothes. By chance he gets his food. By chance he gets his... The devotees used to go from down the plain and build a small... Big rich people also were there. They will build a small hut for a Mahatma. That is how Tapovan Maharaj's hut was built. Because they don't have any money. One of Gurudev's cousins I met, and I think she is no more now, but she told me she was in Bombay, she and her husband, and Gurudev is cousin. So once he wrote to them, sent me one Gita book. Those days Gita book is only 20 paisa or 30 paisa or not much praise. That much money also he didn't have at that time. You can imagine, our Gurudev who lived this extreme also, that extreme also. Actually, when I went to Uttarkashi and wanted to give fruits, the group that went to, we wanted to give fruits to the sadhus. So we went to Kalikambliwala ashram with baskets of fruits. And we gave each one apple or what, I don't remember now. Then when I saw them standing in the queue, and some of them radiant with that understanding, their faces are shining like it. They are also standing with ordinary beggars for food. When I saw them, I felt like crying. Gurudev had been coming here for so many years. You understand? That is how they live. Yadrishigo bhaved. This is true sannyas, in which there is no need to depend on anybody or anything. It depends on himself. For food, depends. Food means you have to eat, so the body is required. Otherwise the body is also not required. It will come. When the Lord wants you in this world, you will be preserved by some other power. You are all thinking, because I have earned money, I have kept it in the bank and that is why I am safe. No. You understand? That's what you think. But the Mahatmas, they lived independently. They have no worry about tomorrow. How do the birds live? How do the animals live? Are they having granaries? Nothing of the sort. Like that, Mahatma lives. Stuti Namaskaradi, Pidrushraddhadi, karmas. Nothing is there. And when he does work for the Deha Dharanam, for Sharira Dharanam, then he depends on his body. At other times, he depends only on Atma Tattva. That is all. And he is happy with whatever he gets. Edrushchaya labhasandushtaha. By edrucha. Accidentally what comes to your way, he is happy with that. He doesn't go in search of anything. It is the prarabdha karma which makes that body live. Otherwise he would have died. The moment you realize you don't need the body. Why the body is there is due to prarabdha karma, and what it goes through, the diseases it goes through, the problems it goes through is all due to prarabdha karma. But himself, he is not an enjoyer of either. He is not a jiva anymore. See, it is the jiva which goes through the sukha dukkhas. He is not a jiva. He is now the Atman, the self, and hence he doesn't go through that sukha dukkhas. That is why Ramana Maharshi, for whom is the sickness? For the body. Or prarabdha is prarabdhaya samarpidam swavapu. And himself, he is not a enjoyer of prarabdha.
Prarabdha karma is the vasanas in
Action. That is the body is suffering. For the body. Very many books say that the prarabdha is only for the body, not for the person. He has distinguished these two things. Okay, body itself is taken because of the prarabdha. And the body lives as long as the prarabdha karmas are there. Karmajanyam is the prarabdha. Karmajanyam is the body. And when karmas have ended, not even 1 second it will be there with you. So, now last verse we'll do. Tattvam adhyatmigam drishtva. Tattvam drishtva tu bhāhyatah. Tattvi bhūtastada rāmaha. Tattvāda prachuto bhavet. So he who has seen Tattvam outside, Tattvam adhyatmigam, having recognized this divinity within himself, in himself, by himself, he has recognized this divinity in himself. Drishtva, Tattvam drishtva tu bhāhyatah, seeing the familiar world of OET and seeing divinity in that also. That is a beauty. He has not only seen within himself, he had seen the divinity, the mind and intellect, the sukshma sharira. He looks out, there also, he sees only divinity. He does not see it as anatma vastu anymore. There is no atma anatma vivekam had taken him where? There are no two things, there is only one Atma. The so-called anatma is all. Adhishtanam is Atma only. They are not different, separate. We saw already. Not Pradak. So seeing, look around. In the Gita that verse is there. When he looks within himself, he becomes Atma Ramaha. What is that verse? Atma? Not that. When he looks within, in the Atman, he revels in himself. There is one verse, I forget the verse. This is a separate verse. I forgot where it is from. I must go through the Gita and find out. The thing is, when he looks inside, he revels in himself. You understand? Atma Ramaha. He is Atma. Atma, he understands within. Then he looks outside and he sees the whole world as so many mirrors in which he is reflected himself. Atma Krida. Atma Radihi. Now I got that word. Atma Radi. When he looks inside, he is reveling in that. When you look inside in deep moments of meditation, you are reveling in that absolute bliss. But when you are looking outside in the Vyavahārika world, what do you see? All these people, their minds and intellects are reflecting me. They are the mirrors, I am the reflecting. Pratibimbam is that. So when I look at you, I don't see you as an individuality, I see myself in you. That is sarvabodhastamatmanam, all that. So that is called, in the Gita it is said, Atma Krida. These kings and all keep a lot of mirrors in their hall of mirrors. For what? They see themselves in so many mirrors. It's a krida for them. It is a sports. So every day the king goes and do like that and all the 100 mirrors do the same thing. Isn't it? And he laughs. What funny things we do in front of the mirror. Though nobody sees, only we'll do. What? Chandogya and all I have not done. I don't know where. No, it is there in the Gita. Atma Radihi, Atma Krida, Atma Truptascha Manava. And he is contented in Atmaneva Atmana Tushtaha. There is no other object which can add to his happiness. That is Atma Truptaha. You understand this? Atma Radihi, Atma Krida. It is half a verse which attracts me always. Because when you look outside also you see only Atman. Look inside also I am that Atman. And contented with that. There is nothing in this world which can add an iota of happiness to my bliss. By gaining which, what you can be more happy? You cannot. You are sakashta saparam gati. That you have reached. That you have reached that highest reach. And what a beautiful words he explains here. When you are experiencing the same inside and outside, what happens? Atma Radihi, Atma Krida. And then what happens to him? Tatvi Bhutaha. Tadaramaha. In the outer world, he becomes one with that reality. He has become Tattvam itself. The subject-object division has ended. There is no seer and the seen. The seer itself is the seen. Tattvi Bhutaha there means the seer has become the seen. Tadaramaha. Atmaramaha. We are all what? Any idea? Indriyarama. What are we? Indriyarama. And what is Mahatma? Atmarama. He sees himself only everywhere. He sees himself when he looks inside. He is happy with himself. No more search for anything. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyadeen adhigam tada. No other labha is adhigam, better, more than. That is the Mahatma. Okay. And tatvad aprachyudo bhavet, such a man, he becomes a mass of love. Because he can see only himself. The worst enemy you have also is you only. Samashatrauja mitreja, there is no shatru, no mitram. Why? Because I am the shatru, I am the mitra. Sometimes we behave like shatru to ourselves, Even then we love ourselves. Like that it becomes. There is no shatru also. All the bhava of raga and dvesha prevents you from going higher and higher in your spiritual endeavors. That is why a spiritual sadhaka should be extremely careful not to have raga dveshas. I easily said, but you know how people are, why people are like that. We are also like that, let us say. We are also like that. No raga, no dvesha. If you have come to that stage, it's very easy after that to realize the self. But now we have raga dvesha. Even in the food we eat, we have raga dvesha. Even in the friends we have raga dvesha. All are me only. Then why you are having raga and dvesha? You don't especially say early in the morning, I love you to myself. Do we? Love is always there. Nor you need to say, I hate you. Neither is valid. Beyond hatred and beyond love is that state. Tatvad aprachyudo bhaved. He who has thus achieved that highest reach of realization, he will never again fall from that. It's only those who are on, now and then you reach there, again fall. Pramado vai mrityu. That is called mrityu, that is called change. Again and again you fall. Initial stages of meditation, initial stages of understanding, you fall again and again to the Jiva Bhava. But one who is experienced in this field of realization, he never again comes down any time. He becomes a mass of love. All his actions are that love concretized. He works from a center which is all love. That is why the Mahatmas even can tolerate, even the greatest sinners they can tolerate. We can't. Not these little things, even in little things we get annoyed with each other. But they go beyond that hatred which is preventing you from knowing yourself, from owning a samrajyam which is there in you. Get out of all that. Turnam vinirgamyadam, says Adharvajjaga. Turnam. Quickly you get out of all these negative tendencies in you and awaken to your divine status. And every one of you can. Every one of you. There is nobody who is not fit for the study of Vedanta or the benefit it can confer on you. Everybody is welcome. Only thing is, if you are still in the lower level, it will take some more time. But everybody is moving towards that fulfillment, that dinoma, which is the Janma Sabhalyam we call it. The Saphalata of Brahman we achieve. And here is a man, is such an individual who has recognized the divinity within as well as outside. He is really fully and completely realized Brahman in action in the world, thereafter he can act or do not act, up to him. Understand? You can, Manushya Shikshanartham, they may act. And with that, this chapter is over. Vaidadhya Prakarana. And I wanted to tell you the main points in it, which I'll do next class. Anyway, there is no time much. There is not much time. Very small summary of it I'll tell you so that you can remember, or you may jot it down. Of the Vaidadhya Prakarana. I have already pointed out that the first verses, the 1 to 3 is the Swapna Prapancha Vaidadhyam in the Vaidadhya Prakarana. And 4 to 18 is the Jagrat Prapancha Vaidadhyam. 4 to 18, Karika 4 to 18. And 19 to 29 is misconceptions regarding the reality. 19 to 29.
What is it?
Misconceptions regarding the reality. That is, we saw, Saprayojanda, the Andavatva, all those things. 1 to 3 is Swapna Prapancha Vaidadhyam. 4 to 18 is Jagrat. 9. 4 to 18. Jagrat Prapancha Vaidadhyam. (19 to 29) misconceptions regarding reality. If you remember all that, Saprayojanda, Apurvata, etc., etc., etc. Purvaparshi was trying to bombard the Siddhanti. That is called misconceptions. 30 to 34 is Upasamharam. And 35 to 38, sadhanas, and the result of such sadhana is given in the, and Jivan Mukti is pointed out. Upasana, and the ultimate is Jivan Mukti, the Jivan Mukti state, Tattvi Bhuya. That is, Jivan Mukti state is also pointed out. That is the Vaidadhya Prakaranam. A little more in detail I will tell you in the next class, and then we will get into Advaita Prakaranam. Actually, Advaita Prakaranam is the heart of this Upanishad. Only preparing you to receive it are the first two Prakaranas, Agama Prakarana and Vaidadhya Prakarana. And the world of illusion is negated. Now, establishing the Vedanta on its strong basis is Vedanta Prakarana. Vedanta Prakarana should not be difficult because already we know Vedanta. So it should not be difficult. All these were difficult. And the Aladi Shanti is very difficult because it is Khandanam. Khandanam of opposition. Always that is difficult. After that, it's over. That is 100 verses. Because these opponents, they will bring out all types of arguments. And everything that Siddhanti has to do Khandanam. Illusoriness of the world. Not only illusoriness of dream world is only 3 verses. Because that is understood by us already. Whether anybody says or any argument is brought out, by merely arguing, we cannot change the fact that Swapna is, so far as we are concerned, is Mrisha. That is all. Simple. but not so the waking world. Hence he took so many verses to describe that Jagrat state. Okay.
Shloka wise, exactly 1/3 is over. 33 and 1/3%. 215 are.
Anyway, you're a good mathematician, I think. So now we have 2/3 remaining. And where is the time?
You can go faster now because main thing is 140.
This is 48 shlokas.
You will be surprised how every time it got over, I myself don't know. Every time I think I cannot finish it. Every time I finished. Not I.
The last one is important.
Eh?
Radha
Not important, but it is Ganthanam of opposite parties. Particularly Buddhists. That way, and Buddha, we are not well versed in the Buddhist stand. And we have to study it. Vedanta we know, but that we don't know. And Gaudapada was a master of both. He studied Buddhism just to do Khandana. Like our Christians do nowadays. They take all our books and study it. They think they can do Khandana. And now they came out with a very good proposition that Jesus only wrote Gita. Isn't it mad? Isn't it mad? We were having a yajna in Madras, and then one padri came with a lot of notice, in which it is written that Jesus only had written the Gita, and he was distributing it to the people who are coming to the Gita class. He got so angry, Mitranda, young brahmachari at that time. He went and he said, "Get lost from here, I'll beat you up," he said. How many prajas are there, I don't know. That is why they want all the world as their prajas. They are all mad people. Without any... Hinduism is not like that. We should have pramanam for any stand we take. Pramanam is required. We cannot say through our hat something. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamahadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti.